Welcome to Bone Apple Tea. This is your host, Randy Baruso, and today I sit down with a very special guest, Yadomir, and you might know him as Plumpy Beats. He's got a few names as an artist. He is absolutely killing it in the space, doing amazing things. We talk about his career as a music engineer and producer, all the crazy things that he's done working with Diplo and such, and a bunch of other random stuff that we go out on a tangents on. So a lot of fun, great time. Thanks for listening and enjoy. Look at that. We're off to the races.
Awesome. Beautiful.
Dude, it's good to have you here.
Yeah. Good to have you too.
Got this fresh tea.
Yes. Ginger tea.
Ginger tea.
Freshly peeled, freshly grated.
Yeah.
No sugar.
Yeah. If no one got to see this, but he showed up proper. He got a whole tool set.
Yes. Brought my cup, my ginger root, shredder, and a peeler.
Yeah, that was
it's
delicious, dude.
Yeah, it's great. Try it out. It helps boost your immunity.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's good for inflammation. If you have a bad gut or acne, this is really good for.
Yeah, well, I definitely trust you, dude. Your skin's like looks like you're model ready over here.
Almost. I had really bad skin. I grew up with eczema. I had
Really?
eczema my whole life, and I got rid of it luckily by eliminating, things that were inflammatory.
Right.
Things that basically weren't good for your gut.
And don't mind me with the phone. I just have to track this for time's sake for this camera. Oddly enough, so the camera that's on you has infinite recording time. But this camera that's recording me can only record up to 30 minutes at a time.
Oh,
so
okay.
I have to trigger it every now and then. But firing on all cylinders over here.
Yeah. Well, let's do it.
Yeah. So now, I mean, here's the thing. I remember seeing you. I think I met you first a while ago at a friend's birthday celebration, right?
Yeah, it was something like that.
And we happened to sit next to each other, and it's really rare when you meet someone and they know about audio,
right?
And I was like, oh, this guy,
it's like when dogs, meet each other for first time, they start sniffing each other's butts and shit.
Yeah, that was us, dude. We were sniffing each other's butts.
Yeah, what do you do? So what kind of tools do you use? You Pro Tools, Ableton?
Yeah, what are you using? What are you using? And that pretty much started us off. But I meet a lot of people in the audio space. But when I started seeing what you were doing, I was taken aback because I was like, holy shit, Plumpy. Yadomir is your real name, right?
Yadomir, yeah.
Yadomir? Thank you. It's funny. I was about to say, I'm white, but you're white too. It's just I'm American and dumb. But yeah, I was looking at your essentially resume of shit that you've done, and it blew my mind.
Thank you, man.
How does a guy in Rhode Island have this kind of a stack? I just hidden amongst us.
Yeah, it's a long story, man. I mean, I grew up in Europe. When I was 10 years old, I grew up in a small town called Svidnik, which is in Slovakia. It's on the very east coast of the country. And, when I was 10 years old, my family relocated to United States, Chicago specifically. And I lived there for 12 years. And during those 12 years, I learned English and met a bunch of people and was very quickly introduced to hip hop music, house music, of course, Chicago being a big city. That's the first type of genre you'll get introduced to there. So, I just met a lot of great people, a lot of like-minded individuals that were into music, and just kept grinding hard in Chicago and trying to produce records out there. But then I also studied athletic training on the side. For about a good 5 years, I studied athletic training, and my last semester, I had an opportunity to go to LA and co-produce for an artist. And instead of finishing, I dropped out and didn't finish college. And I was like, well, do I want to do, something that I love, or do I want to do something that just gets me by and I'm going to hate my life,
Right.
So I didn't want to look back at that moment. So I just, never finished.
Never finished the schooling stuff?
No.
Now, wait a minute. Who was the opportunity with?
It was with a female artist called Jack Novak.
Okay.
She was a female producer, DJ. She produced and DJ'd, and I just helped her with the records and we toured, all over U.S. and China and stuff like that.
Wow.
So it was intense, and it was a lot of learning. I'll tell you that.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, a lot of learning from that experience, but it was great. It was very, very awesome.
Now,
Yeah.
how old were you when that happened?
I was I think I was going to LA when I was 21, I
Okay.
believe. 20 or 21.
Yeah.
I may have been 21 already, actually. So I was, had a dream, wanted to make records.
Yeah.
And LA is like the mecca of all industries.
Yeah,
So,
it really is.
at some point I was like, someone's going to end up in LA one way or another. And if I'm there, I can meet up with them, make records, whatever.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's funny how it happened. I was on Twitter and I saw Jack Novak posted a tweet of her shows, and I contacted her and was like, "Hey, I like the music. I make music too. Here is some songs for you to check out." Long story short, she checked that out and liked what I made, and
Mm.
was like, "Hey, you should come out to LA and make records with me. Like just get a one-way ticket and like check it out."
Holy shit. I mean, I'm just thinking like in my own head,
Yeah,
given an opportunity like that, as much as it's like, I'm sure
It-
right now it seems like, yes, that was the right choice, but I'm sure at the time it must have been a little bit
yeah,
tough to be
and-
like, should I leave this life that I've been like literally in school for 5 years behind to chase
Yeah.
my dream? I mean,
yeah,
that's,
I mean, it's like my parents. I'm from Europe, so my parents would always push me to finish school. Get a degree,
Yeah.
do the standard thing. But I'm an Aries, and I'm pretty hard headed. So I'm
By
I'm
the
like,
shirt,
I
too.
wanted.
I was actually gonna ask about
I
that.
wanted right, a lot of fire. But I just wanted to do something that made me happy, and I wanted to pursue that.
Mm.
Like my dad wanted to go to America when he was young, and then
Right.
he did it. And
Yeah.
I was like, if he can fucking do that, why can't I do it?
Yeah.
Like I want to go and do my thing and follow my passion.
Yeah.
And put in the time in that. So, but yeah, to get back to the Twitter story, it's funny because like she asked me to come to LA, so I went there, and we made a few records. And at the time, she had a roommate living with her, but she was like, "Oh, my roommate's moving out, and you should come here and just like move here and produce records, and we'll like travel and stuff like that." So being 2021, whatever I was, that sounded like a dream. I was like, yeah, I get to make records and
Oh,
go
yeah.
to LA. Yeah, it's gonna be a grind, but I'm gonna be doing what I love.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it was a no brainer, and I just at that time, that's just I went with that. And
How was the switch from Chicago to LA? Because I feel like two different, completely different
Yeah.
cities in terms of like the scene, music style, especially locally, is gonna be very
yeah,
different.
definitely. Chicago is very different, and LA is something always going on, like
Right.
every night people hit you up. This is going on. Come here, do this. This person's doing that. That
Yeah.
person's doing this.
Weekends are optional. Every day's the weekend.
Yeah, exactly. And then Chicago is a bit more laid back. Well, for me, it was because I lived in the suburbs. So
Mm.
for me to get in the city, it was like, nah, that ain't happening.
Okay,
I'd rather
right.
stay at home and make records and
Right.
just make music, because it was like a 45-minute drive downtown for me.
Oh wow.
So I was like,
Yeah.
that's a long time. I'd rather make records, and if I have to go downtown to play some show or something, I'll do it, or
Yeah.
go hang with homies and stuff like that.
Right.
But I mainly just stayed in the suburbs. So it's more, it's like there's shit going on in Chicago, but it's different. It's very
right.
different.
There's a whole different flavor. you know?
Yeah, definitely. It's not like LA where you have festivals of different subgenres.
Yeah.
It's more like house music or hip hop.
Right.
That's all
No in
you're really,
between. Yeah.
or like your typical bars and stuff like that.
Yeah, where
that
they're
play.
Yeah, like classic rock stuff.
Yeah,
and all
yeah,
that.
of course. You have that. You gotta have that.
Yeah, that's everywhere, man. That's like my dad's in a classic rock band, and he just he does
Yeah.
covers and stuff. So, but that's around here or like Massachusetts area, I guess. Now,
Right.
so you moved to LA.
Yeah.
You start doing this thing.
Yeah.
So that's now. How old are you now?
I'm 28 now.
28.
Yeah.
Damn. So I'm just trying to think. Like between then and now, you've really built your career up.
I
So-
was grinding like 3 jobs in LA when I was out
Really,
there.
3 jobs and
Yeah.
producing.
Oh yeah. I
Wow.
was
What were you doing?
co-producing for people, working. I was most of my time was a Lyft Uber driver. Yeah,
Oh,
just some, and sometimes I would even work Postmates to make extra money. Because
interesting.
I mean, some people know, some people don't, but streaming royalties, it's not a big payout. So artists aren't
Yeah.
making that much money on that. So it's more like I did it because I love doing it, and I needed some other income to fuel my, like
Yeah.
dream of,
Yeah.
making records.
Yeah, yeah, because plugins aren't free,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
right,
I don't
right.
care how many deals Waves puts on, dude. It still costs
Yeah,
money.
15,000 for a bundle. Wow, what a deal!
What's the deal?
A whole car.
When it's usually 3,500, but for today and today only, it's 1,500. Yeah, gotta love that.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I feel like that is something that, like, as wonderful as the internet has been for music in terms of like opening up the world for people to hear thousands and thousands of various artists,
Yeah.
it does kind of hurt the artist, whereas like before they would be selling actual records. So I don't know. I mean, what do you think? Do you think that it's better that people have more access even though you make less money, or would you rather it be a little bit more exclusive somehow?
I think it's better people have more access.
Mm.
You kind of can nowadays go into a rabbit hole of listening to music, and the algorithm will feed you just weird shit.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I oftentimes find like some of the best records from the algorithm feeding it to me. I'll
Yep.
be like brushing my teeth and listening to stuff on Audio Mag and like, bump into it, be like, wait, what is that? Huh? You go
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
playlist this. I
Yeah.
haven't heard anything like that before. So
Yeah.
I think it's for the better.
Yeah. I think
There's
so
so
too.
many streaming platforms that you could just click of a button, find millions of records.
Yeah, there's definitely
Yeah.
like there's so many things that I think I never would have listened to had it not been for like the Spotify algorithm. Like
Yeah.
where you'll
Yeah.
accidentally find someone and then you'll be like, "Oh, let me go listen to, whoever it is radio."
Yeah.
And then it's like they curate stuff that you never would have found in your entire life before. So I agree. I think it's definitely really good.
Yeah.
Back to you though.
No,
So
I mean, there's still like a special feeling to like when you feel like a tangible record, or
right. And that's
go-
why record players are coming back in style.
Yeah, exactly. There's still something about it, but it's just nice that you can find so much new music in just a few hours of just clicking and
Yeah. Well, I mean,
moving
we're in a
around.
nice time where, like, if you want the physical thing, you can
go
get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you really like it, like, they make really good record players now that
Yeah.
are like Bluetooth Connect and like all
Exactly.
these, really cool things. Now, wait a minute. So you're in LA, you're working, all those three, man, fucking up just fucking up my
Yeah,
studio,
man.
dude. You're in here for 5 minutes. So how do you, I mean, here's what blew me away is that you've been working with Diplo and stuff. When did that come into the fruition here?
So I went through a few different projects. My main project, when I was in Chicago, I was in a duo called Excite. And then when I moved to LA, well, before I moved to LA, I started a solo project, which was called Stravi, and I made house records, progressive house records, which is how I started producing for that artist in LA. And then after that, I started a duo with another good friend of mine, and we made a duo called Sinner's Heist, which was just future-based trap type thing. But that started also like when I moved to LA. And after that, like being in a duo, it's tough. There's good times and there's hard times because
Right.
you have disagreements, and also everyone has their own inspiration, and like then you butt heads, and it just
It's tough.
you gotta have that. Everyone needs their alone time to create certain shit, you know.
Yeah.
And so it got to a point where we were just too much, But it was all love, we made music and that, but. Then I wanted to start like a fun project after getting more into the trappy future bassy stuff. So I made this Plumpy project. I mean, I'm not plumpy. If I keep eating on the East Coast like I am, I will be.
There's too much good food out here in this,
It is,
this area.
especially seafood. I got to tell you, man.
Oh yeah, well we're in the prime area for seafood. Out here is like this is like a
Exactly.
westerly area that's just like so good for it.
But the name really is to describe what my music sounds like. Like I just like the plump sound. I don't know how to describe it. It's just like
fat.
a certain way I like to process my sounds and make my music type thing.
Yeah.
And that project started pretty quickly because I was like, fuck it, man. I'm just gonna stay up all night and make like an EP of just these fun hip hop records. but I'll put them out right after I bounce the track. I'm not even gonna go back to it. I'm just gonna make it, bounce it, distro it, make a track, bounce it, distro it, and it picked up steam that way. Which I've just because I didn't give a fuck. I was like, I want to make a bunch of records and just put them out. Fuck planning all this shit, because like sometimes you plan a record for 1 month, 2 months, sometimes even longer, and it's like, to me, like, I got to the point where I was like, it's just a waste of time, like, especially with the way the platforms were moving during that time, like 4 years back. SoundCloud still had traction, so it's like if you were consistent with it, got better algorithms, then the project would actually see the shine. So I would just drop like 7 records in like 2 days, maybe something like that.
Dude, that's I mean, just from an audio mixing perspective, that sounds like really, like, I don't know if brave is the right word, but like, I'm just thinking about how many times I go back and I'm like, I don't know, was that kick too loud? Is that snare biting a little too hard? Like, hold up, let me go listen to it in the car. And you're just like friggin' bouncing and posting. And that's crazy to me. That's wild.
Mean, Aries, we're impulsive. It's just like, sometimes that's how it is, but
I like it, man. It's like, it's admirable. It's like, that's a lot of balls to mix something that quickly and to put it out and for it to be good.
Well, it's not that it was perfect. It was just, the cool thing was with the project, like when I uploaded each song, I would type out a story to it. I'd be like, oh, this song happened because I was working late night at this and this club, passing out flyers for Insomniac, and then this and this thing inspired me. I would write a long paragraph for each song I would upload. Okay. So that way you get a story of like, where did the song come from? How did it come together? That type thing. That's cool. So, but eventually I stopped doing that because, management came in and, again, more chefs in the kitchen, things get tough. Or not tough, it's just, you got to work together to make it
Everyone's
work.
got to be happy.
Yeah. But, so to answer your question about the Diplo thing, it wasn't until like my Plumpy project where I was living in the Sinner's Heist house where I was making records with my friend Brandon. Yep. And we had an extra room, and instead of like Airbnb out, I had this friend Rebecca Rockland. She's a singer, songwriter, producer, DJ, and I would record her here and there, like stuff she needed help with, and I was playing her this one song I had like worked out, and I'm like, man, like Diplo would fuck with this, but like I don't know like how to send to this guy.
Like how do you get to? Because at the time that's like a daunting goal. It's like, here's this guy, I'd love for him to hear my song, but of course he also probably hears thousands of songs from so many artists.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it was like, she was just nonchalant about it. She's like, oh, I have his email. You want to send it to him? I was like, what? Like, really? Like, you fine with that? He's like, oh yeah, I got it from him at like some boat party or something, like,
casual,
Yeah, I'm like, sure, but so like I sent the song, but also before I sent it, the song was already due for distribution. And 3 days before it went live, I'm working Uber Lyft in the car, and like I get an email and like I'm at a red light, so I'm like, oh fuck, I'll check it. And I open it and like, Diplo responded and he's like, this is dope, let's sign it to Matt Decent. I was just like,
what?
Whoa, like, is this, and then like my team was calling me and stuff. Like, they're like, did you see the email that came? Like, he wants to sign the song. Like, I'm like, wait, but it comes out in 3 days. What do you,
what do we do?
So then like his team got back and they're like, yeah, like pull it down. Like, we're gonna like plan it out and put it out. And so at the, I did that record with a friend from Chicago who goes by Trey Mortimer. And at the time when that happened, he was in Poland, and it's like 3 a.m. there, and I'm like trying to call him because I'm excited, I'm like, wake the fuck up, dude! Like, fucking, the record got signed, man. Come on, it's like just not picking up, and like eventually picks up. I'm like, man, like Diplo wants the record. Like, fuck,
dude, is this real life? What the fuck's going on?
Yeah, he's like, dude, it's 4 a.m. But I'm gonna run in the woods and scream about it. Because it's like, it was like late at night and he's like trying to talk to me. And then like his family is like, yo, it's 4 a.m. Yeah. Stop yelling on the phone.
Yeah, calm the fuck down.
My record got signed to Diplo's label.
I'm sure parents are like, who?
Yeah, they're like, who? Yeah, but that's how that happened. Like, it's very random how it happened, but like, it just, I think it's like one of those things where, yeah, if you're just a good person and you're good to people and you help people, like I don't know where you'll get these things to you, just
Yeah.
by,
Yeah.
like I never charged her to like pay me for the whatever help she needed. I was just like, yeah, let's do it real quick. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I feel like that's how a lot of things happen, is that like sometimes people right now are really trying to like rush things through. And sometimes some of the best things to happen are just out of random. Like you randomly meet
yeah,
someone, you talked over here and you were just,
exactly.
and if as long as you keep being that like nice, kind person, like people recognize that. And it shows. I mean, I felt like I've met a lot of really amazing people just by chance, like for this short film that I have, the director I met just like on a whim. Like my buddy was like, oh yeah, like come do this audition thing. And, at the time it was on Zoom online or whatever. And, I did it. And then he saw it, he emailed me and we just hit it off. And it's just one of those things where I didn't know I was going to meet this guy or be introduced to that guy. And then it just happens that way.
Yeah, it's just naturally is the best. And something I wanted to mention is that like the people that like people like Diplo and like I've talked to chain smokers and all those guys, like the people that are busiest for somehow get back to you. They find the time to get back to you. But then there's people that are like not nowhere near on that scale, but won't say a word to you. So
Dude,
but
yes.
I respect that, because when you think about it, those guys are traveling every fucking day, nonstop doing shit. And the fact that they still take a second out of their day to get back to you, and you're like a nobody, is crazy. That's
That is
just
crazy,
very
man.
respectful. But
Well, I think there's a reason they're at where they're at, and it's not just because they're talent. Like being talented is a very key component to this whole business, but it's a business, it's an industry.
Yeah.
And a part of the business is being able to talk to people.
Exactly.
And being able to just like be kind.
Just
and
be
like,
a person.
Yeah, be a person. I think sometimes like, kind of like when you get this call, you're like, oh my God, Diplo. And Diplo kind of like seems like Santa Claus in the moment.
Yeah.
It's like, holy crap, this like big magical superstar is recognizing my talent. But at the end of the day, Diplo's a person.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And it sounds like a nice guy at that.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, it's like he's funny. I mean, like I send him that song and he signed it and stuff. And then there's sometimes I send him songs and he doesn't respond, or sometimes he'll respond and be like, cool.
Yes.
I mean, but it's like the fact that the guy listens, like that's beautiful.
Yeah.
If it's like if you were in that position, I mean, you'd for sure give time of your day to someone that's like, hey, there's new music here. Like, oh, fuck it. What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah,
worst is I don't like it.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
That's the worst thing that happens. But
no, so that was the start of you guys' like collaboration, but it didn't end there either, right?
I
understand.
So I never worked on a record with Wes himself. I just signed the record to his label, and I'm very close mainly with his engineer Akira.
Okay.
And there's a lot of times where I went to Wes's house for sessions with Akira, and we would just make music. He's not there, but his house is like wild because he's got studios and shit in his place, and people just come. People are there all the time. Like even when the dude's home, there's like people there. People are like, do you not get sick of people here all the fucking time making noise and shit?
Like, don't you want at least one fucking set of 5 minutes without like
right,
someone being like throwing in some trap bass real quick?
It's funny, man. I mean, that's the funny thing I was telling you when I was I got it mentioned to everybody. Diplo's bathroom's hilarious because you go in there not expecting the bathroom, but you go in there and there's like a platinum records all over the bathroom, like from Jack U and from like with Bieber and shit, and you're just like, fuck, what the fuck? And then there's like this complicated robot toilet that like I unfortunately like they know how to use, and like fucking water got all over the fucking place, started shooting things.
Oh, dude, he had a
like,
freaking bidet. He had like probably a super bidet.
Yeah, it was
there.
like a super bidet. I don't know how to use that.
Dude, I just
cleaned
installed
it though. I cleaned it plus. Don't worry.
Hey, I'm just hopping on that bidet game, man. It's a little weird because it's definitely like I feel like it's not super common in the United States, especially, but overseas it's everywhere.
Yeah,
and like okay, for the people wondering, like, why would you get a bidet? All right, here's the reason. If you got poop on your arm, there's no way in fucking hell that you would just grab a paper towel and just like dry wipe it and be like, all right, clean.
Yeah, definitely.
You would wash it off,
right,
you know?
Right.
So it's like, as soon as someone said that, I was like, all right, I got one. And felt like Mario and Luigi in there, piping it up with all my plumbing expertise.
Exactly.
But anyway, sorry, total side tangent. But yeah, dude, so you're in his bathroom pooping with greatness. You know, you got all these wonderful
albums.
Had to
drop one, you know?
Yeah.
Had
to drop one on him.
No, but it's great. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's nice to just to be able to go there and get inspired by, you know, just the energy there. You know, crazy records have been made there, not just by him, but all of artists that are on Matt Decent, his label, and you know, whoever the fuck else comes there. You know, just people just show up and do their thing, and it's crazy. You never know who you'll bump into there.
Yeah, I feel like if it's that, I don't know if chaotic's the right word, but you know, like just people coming in and going and you know, kind of popping in and out. That you must just like run into just some super creatives that walk in there.
Yeah, that you're always gonna. I mean, like when I went there for my publishing meeting, like I bumped into Nitty Gritty. He's a great producer. I'm not sure if you ever heard of him, but if you haven't, check him out. But yeah, he was just chilling on the couch making beats, and while there's you know Xbox going on and shit, you know, like everyone's just doing shit there. Like, yeah, it's cool. It's inspiring. You know, like no one's wasting time here. We're getting to it.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Well,
it's
amazing that like starting where you started, going to Chicago, and then like going to LA, all kind of like led to just like being able to be in that space.
Yeah, it's a trip, man. It's wild. Like even though like first when I got to LA, it was crazy because the girl I was producing for knew a fuck ton of people, and she introduced me to a lot of people that I'm grateful for. And you know, I saw a lot, traveled a lot, so it's like it was kind of just weird because I'm from Europe and like. You know, like my dad would like fangirl over some of these artists, you know, and like I'd get to like meet them or like hang out with them. And like it was just weird for me because I'm like, I'm from like small ass town of like, you know, not that many people. No one really knows where Slovakia is, you know.
Yeah, I don't.
So, I mean, yeah, it's like for me, it was just weird. But also, I just knew that I could fucking do it because if my dad can do it, then, you know, if he can go from take his family with 4 suitcases, go to the U.S. and be fine, not knowing the language.
Yeah, it's like I already know the language.
I know the language.
Yeah.
I have feet. I have legs. I have a mouth. I can talk. Fucking, I'll figure it out.
Yeah,
So,
so wait a minute. I know this might be backtracking a little bit, but like you didn't just like start like you didn't just like be born with music making ability.
No.
So when was like when did you start? Like for example, as a sort of maybe give you a little bit of things to talk about. When I started, I was 12 and I got like a little 8-track recorder. And I would record me and my buddy. Like I had a drum set and a few mics, so I'd mic up my little kit and I'd mic up my buddy's amp, and we would just like make songs together. Yeah, and that was like the start of me. I didn't get a computer into the equation until I was like 15, and then I was like, wait a minute, you have all these plugins that you can use, and then that kind of started that. Yeah, blew my mind, and I was like, wait a minute, you can correct time and quantize, and I was like, holy crap, like it's a whole world of stuff. So. I don't know. Where did you sort of begin with all that?
I have honestly no like musical theory background at all.
Which is amazing.
No one in my family is a musician. Honestly, my mom played the guitar when I was little, but no one else does anything with music. I just kind of. I think when I was in high school, I saw like on YouTube a video of Tiesto. Randomly came up. Tiesto was playing. Like the song Traffic of his. And like it was at a rave and it was literally like thousands of people going crazy. And I was just like, what this music's crazy. I don't know what this is like.
Yeah.
But I remember from being a kid, me and my family would always go on vacations. We would drive to like Croatia and Italy and stuff like that. And my dad would always bump like ATB, like, you know, boom, 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 boom. I want you in your room. All those old hits and stuff.
Yeah.
Like he would play that all the time. And so I guess that electronic dance thing was like in me. And like, well, so when I was a young kid, my grandma would always be like to my parents, like, this kid's always in the air. This kid's always jumping. Like, he's got so much energy, you know? And they'd always tell me that. And like with the music, I'd be like, yeah, this music makes me want to move and jump. Fucking energy's
Let's
great.
Go. Yeah.
So like, I'm not musically trained, but music was always around. And my dad always appreciated sound systems and, being like from Slovakia, like my parents always made me dance and stuff like that. So, but yeah, man, like I was just having a funny cellular argument with my girlfriend the other day because I was making my music and, I'm not classically trained. And so like, she was like, baby, that's off key, right? And I was like, no, that isn't. Don't tell me. I'm an Aries, right? So I'm like, no, don't tell me that. It's not.
Yeah, I know what I'm talking about.
and then like I'm like, all right, well, if a few things out of key, come here and like put the notes and then show me, because she knows she's like she's been classically trained and like she puts the notes in and just like looks at my face while it plays, and I was just like, fuck, you're right.
Yeah, damn it.
But I guess in my head, since like I just use my ears to produce, like it's like I guess I convinced my brain that certain notes sound right even though they don't, just from like never learning theory and always just being like, yeah, this sounds right to me.
Right.
But it's not like the first time I've been told my music's out of key. So I apologize if some elements are out of key, but I just use my ears, I guess. And I'm learning. I'm definitely learning.
That's pretty impressive that you don't. So like you don't know music theory, but like you are. How are you when you make piano and like you do instruments?
I like play notes and I'll just draw them in on the plugin or on the program. You know, I'll either draw them in or I'll like play a loop. I'll typically like loop a few bars and just play a melody till I like it. And once I have a melody and I like it, I'll add drums. I'll add the bass and just make the structure of a record. But usually it's just by just
feeling
banging
it out
on the keyboard. And I actually don't even use a keyboard, a MIDI keyboard. I use my laptop keyboard.
Wow.
Because I just figured out how to fucking use it to my advantage. Like if I'm on a plane making music or if I'm just,
using
have
a
an
little
idea
laptop keyboard.
at a Starbucks, like whip out the laptop, open it, like, So I'm not classically trained at all. So like, if you play a song for me and ask me what key is it, I probably won't know.
Yeah, I
but I'll know what song to mix into it.
Yeah,
just
like
from listening,
like you have the ear and the smarts behind the feeling of it to be like, okay.
Even though sometimes it's wrong, but I take the risk, I guess.
Yeah, well, sometimes you get those jazzy chords that are like intentionally off key.
Yeah, but I appreciate people who can do that. People who understand music theory and kind of like understand, how chord progressions work and how you do the seventh and the diminished and all that shit. Like, I mean, I don't know what the fuck that even means, but like I respect people that do know what that means, and hopefully I can learn one day. But
do you think that like so you said you're not classically trained, does that mean can you play any instruments? Like
no.
The
only instrument I could play is my steel drum, but that's because it's in the key of D. So you're never gonna fuck it up.
Yeah, you can't fuck it up. Yeah.
That's the only thing I could play, and I like to play it just zone out, or just whatever.
Yeah, because anything you play sounds good together.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
right.
I feel like at some point, getting piano lessons would be your way to go.
Oh yeah,
because like piano, and this is something I want to do at some point. It's like a dream of mine to be a really good piano player. But piano teaches you everything from like key to rhythm to harmony to literally the whole kit and caboodle is right in a piano.
Yeah,
I feel like it's like, and as a producer too, like oftentimes you are working on a piano key.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
have
so
a
it's like,
piano in my studio. It
yeah,
was
yeah.
my girlfriend's piano, but I don't use it. You know, like
Yeah, yeah.
there's been like months where I was like, okay, baby, I'm gonna learn this, like, you know, and she'll like write me a little sheet of like, you know, major, minor scales and shit, and like I'll just like go over and just muscle memory shit, just because
Yeah.
I'm not used to that, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
But then
It's a whole animal. you
yeah,
know?
but then like I'll be like, you know, learning, and then I'll hit certain chords. And I'm like, oh, that'd be cool. Oh, fuck, let me get my laptop.
Yeah.
And then like I'm like, fuck the piano lessons. Let me make this song.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's like this like weird paradox that like, you know, I could learn a very valuable thing,
Yeah.
but
yeah.
I just choose with my airiness. I just choose to do it my way because I
Yeah.
want to just get certain thing done.
Right,
You know,
right.
Like, I'm like, here's an idea. I know what to do with it.
Yeah, yeah.
Instead of being like, like I'll do it later. I should keep like learning the piano.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you have this really really unique obsessiveness to keep creating more and more and more songs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is like not something like I got a buddy of mine who has made so many songs, but he's really hesitant about like how he feels about them. He's like very hypercritical of himself. And so instead of releasing anything, it all stays. And he was actually, when you were like, oh, do you know anyone in the audio world? I was like, yeah, my buddy Ryan, he's really good with it, but he just doesn't put anything out. And I told him that I was interviewing him today. I was like, dude, you got to get on your shit. He's like, oh, fuck, I'm about to finish the song today.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, it's cool. Look at that. You're inspiring people that didn't even know that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's great. But that's awesome. I mean, no one's ever said that. But like, you know, it's like, I remember those days where when you're not very confident in your music, because there's obviously find better music, but like eventually you just gotta not give a fuck.
Yeah.
You just gotta fucking put it out.
Yeah.
Like, why have a song collecting dust in your fucking hard drive somewhere if you could upload it today and it could do 50, 100,000 plays?
I know.
That's seriously happened with some artists that I help out on Audio Mac. You know, I'll tell them upload like 2 songs, and like one of the songs will do like crazy numbers out of nowhere.
Yeah. Because you don't know.
You don't know. You don't know. Like,
yeah.
You just don't know. It's just like people nowadays telling you to make TikToks, you know, like.
Yeah. TikTok's a whole world I still don't understand.
Yeah. I think we're too old for that world.
You know who's got it figured out that's old though is Jack Black. You ever see Jack Black stuff?
No, I haven't.
Oh, he's great, man. There's a few oldies on there, but they got producers to help them out. You know, we're just working with our own phones. It's a lot tougher.
It's not for old people, but it's definitely, you know, younger generation on there, and you kind of have to stoop to that level to make it, you know, so that they get it.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah. What's your goal on TikTok?
I'm figuring it out still.
Figuring it out, yeah. I still am too.
I'm figuring it out. I mean, I get it, but for me, it's more fun to like, you know, I can make a little skit and make a TikTok together, but for me, it's more fun like destroying a sound in Ableton and making it into something else, and then, you know, making a song.
Dude, I love that. I was
know?
looking at some of your videos, and I'm like, damn, like this guy needs more hype on TikTok.
Like,
but
TikTok, yeah, it's just like a fun outlet, and like I'll put some stuff on there and mess around. But yeah, I think it's more fun to make music for me.
Yeah, oh yeah,
it's just, you know, you get in that zone and
yeah, you're just making stuff.
Yeah.
So what's now this past year you did some pretty, to me, crazy numbers. You had 1.6 million streams, almost 400,000 unique listeners over friggin' 100 and something different countries.
Yeah.
So obviously killed it in 2021.
Yeah, thank you.
How did that feel seeing those stats come back?
It's good. It feels really nice. I want to thank every single person that listens and streams and shares my music. Is like, you know, without the people listening, like, you know, more people wouldn't hear the record. So
yeah.
I thank each and every single one of you for you know, giving me that juice to keep making more records. You know, it's nice.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. What was like a record out of this year that you were like super proud of?
Definitely my remix of Zed's Dead, Alive.
Oh yeah, that was kind of recent too, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was on December 17th, right before Christmas. It's funny because my release with Diplo's label was also like December 14th, like 4 years ago, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
And then this one was on December 17th. So I'm like, that's funny. All of my biggest releases happen as like a Christmas gift or some shit. I'm like, it's kind of nice, you know. But
Merry Christmas, the world.
yeah, but it's nice, you know, because in the end, all of those guys were just inspirations, you know. Like I remember seeing the Zed's Dead show, not even knowing who Zed's Dead was, but hearing the music, it was like, whoa, I don't know how the fuck they make it, you know.
Yeah.
But I know how to make house, so I'm gonna go home and make house,
Mm.
you know. And then after just learning until you're you know, you figure it out. But yeah, it's weird, you know. It's like this weird thing where, you know, you almost get so caught up in making records that, you know, there's like I'm constantly saying music to labels and friends and stuff, but you get definitely like 95% no's and no responses. But then like when you do get that response, you're like, huh, is this? I'm not gonna get excited because who knows what the fuck can still happen, you know? But it's like that weird feeling where you're like, okay, cool, like we go milestone to milestone, and you're like, okay, did this next, okay.
Move on.
It's just like fuels you that you're like, okay, as long as I'm working, shit's gonna happen. But it's like if you're not working hard, there's always someone behind you that's doing what you're doing that wants it even more than you.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not busting your ass off, that motherfucker is gonna blow right past you. And he's gonna, you know, go after his dreams and shit.
Yeah, it's amazing how much like parallels there are to just like everywhere in the entertainment industry. Like even with the acting world, man, it's a lot of how I feel. It's like, you know, 95% of the things I apply for or audition for, it's like I don't get. But then like you randomly get like, you know, oh, cool, I'm filming for a TV pilot over here. And it's like, oh, I'm, you know, doing this movie over here. But it took like 90 no's to get that one yes.
Exactly.
So it's really cool.
Yeah, with social media, it's like people just highlight the good shit. So you don't really see the bad shit. So then, you know, you're like, oh, fuck this guy. He's doing so good. He's gonna what? He's got I'm not gonna tell you about the like 100 no's that I got. Like
I know. I feel like, and it's funny with the whole social media thing. I'm equally as confused as to why people are like now like, wow, I can't believe everyone's only posting their highlights. But to me, that makes the most sense. Like when you had an old family photo album, you didn't like open it. You didn't open it up and say like, oh yeah, this was the day the family had a terrible day at the beach. Everyone was crying, and so we took a picture of it and put it in our album. Like that's not there.
Right.
So we're just doing the same thing, but now it's just online.
Exactly. And to get back to the numbers, you mentioned numbers.
Yeah.
So like Plumpy Project is actually my like least streamed project from my other projects.
Is it
like,
really?
Yeah. My Sinner's Heist project that was before this had over 50 million cumulative plays on the project, and we never played a single show, like nothing. You know, we were just busting out records and getting them out there.
What the
you know,
fuck,
so
dude?
like something I want to tell everybody, it's not about the numbers, you know, it's you could even have the numbers on fucking Apple Music, Spotify, whatever, but you know, you got to make that connection with your fans, and you have to like, you know, it's not really about the numbers. You have to build like a solid foundation of fan base so that they support you and spread the word about you, so that they actually come and purchase a ticket to come and see you. You know,
right. In a live scenario,
agent doesn't give a fuck if you have, you know, 1 million monthly listeners. He's like, can you sell this venue? You know what I mean?
That's ultimately where the money actually is the venue stuff.
You know, it's like you got to keep in mind that plays aren't everything. You got to really think about why you're doing what it is that you're doing.
Right.
You know, obviously, like, got to do it because you love it, or else it's just, you know.
Now, when it comes to doing live shows, like, what are some stuff? Because, like, here's the thing. This can be kind of crazy. I've never been to an EDM concert.
You've never been to an EDM concert?
Isn't that crazy?
Oh, my God. Well, I have to take you to a rave or something.
Yeah. It's funny because my buddy Ryan, I think it's called, what he says. Let me see. Let's just look at it real quick. I think it's called
Ultra Music Festival?
Yeah, I think he's trying to get me to go to that. Let me see.
You should. That's a great way to pop your cherry.
Yeah, he says it's called Ultra.
Yeah. Ultra Miami.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. He was like, we got to do it. We got to do it. I was like, all right, I really got to say. I'm 26. I can't be 26 years old. Never been to an EDM show.
You got it. You got to go and experience it, man.
Yeah,
yeah. It's nice. You know, it's like people are very supportive of like every like act that's playing, you know, and it's like it's a lot of like love, and no one's gonna be hating on you there unless you know maybe they have a bad trip or something. Like,
Yeah.
but, but for the most part, it's a lot of fun, you know. Like you get to see like it's different from like your hip hop show because like I've been to Rolling Louds and stuff, and you know it's like the artist will come do like 5-6 songs and then bounce, and then you wait for like half an hour for
Really?
the next artist. You know,
Wow, that's kinda
EDM
crazy.
show like the DJ plays for a whole hour, okay, maybe 5-10 minutes delay, switching equipment and shit for the next artist, and boom, you play for a whole hour. There's not I can't like get booked, play a 30-minute set instead of hour and bounce. Like no.
Yeah, that's really.
You're paid for a certain time to give people the music, so give it to them.
Yeah, right.
'Cause you gotta remember, people spend their hard-earned money on the ticket to come and see you. So
Yeah.
why would you do a 30-minute set when you're booked to do an hour set?
Yeah, that wouldn't make any
You
sense
know.
to me, especially if you're booked for an hour. I mean,
Right.
you know, supposed to be paid
Right.
for the right amount of time.
But yeah, you were asking the favorite like
you like shows
show,
like that you've done personally, you know?
the ones that I done. I mean, the China tour was cool because we did 23 cities in 5.5 weeks.
Damn, in China?
Yeah,
Dude, I gotta
this
get
was
over
like
there.
this was like 2017, I think.
I must have thought you were like a crazy, like, you know, anomaly out there. You know,
I was
blonde hair,
young.
blue eyed.
I was
You know?
young. I was really young. Like people, I was at like where were we? We were at some mall. Like, and then some like the random old dude just wanted to take a picture with me.
That's
I was
that's
like,
exactly what I was
I don't
saying.
know why.
It's
You
because
know,
you're, it's because you're like you're tall, blonde hair,
you know?
blue eyed. Yeah.
Yeah, you're just different out
You look
there.
like an
It's
anime character.
Right,
That's why.
right. It's like, but it was cool, you know. Like, I guess hardest part is like time changes because you go from like
Right.
one time change to another,
Yeah.
another fucking.
Your whole circadian rhythm's like, what the fuck
Yeah,
is going
you're like,
on?
fuck. I'm happy if I get 5 hours of sleep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of
But
coffee.
That was a lot of fun. You know, Tomorrowland was also fun in Belgium. That was cool because
Oh shit, you played that one?
I didn't play. Jack Novak played, but I did join her on stage, and we played a song that we made together, and that was
That's
really
amazing.
cool. But the stage she played was actually built on water.
What?
Yeah.
So was it
So
like just like a floating stage?
it was a giant floating stage of like 10,000 people,
What the fuck?
and you could feel the whole thing
Like swaying a
wobbling.
little bit?
Yeah.
What
But
the
and
hell?
to get to it, you need to take 2 motorboat, like speedboats, to get to the actual stage.
Get the fuck out.
Like it's huge. It's absolutely mental. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like when I was at the stage, I felt seasick. Like for like here and there, I was like, feels like I'm fucking moving right now, man.
Yeah, and it's like, well, you are.
Yeah, it's like yeah, exactly because you are. You know, but it was just weird. Like imagine everyone jumping on water. You're just like, fuck. This is
Yeah, that's gotta be really
but
weird.
those were cool, and you know, of course, like, I mean, yeah, I like the China ones the most because their nightclubs are insane. I mean, they have like baby sharks in their nightclubs, like baby shark tanks and stuff.
Do
And,
do
like,
do do do.
yeah, and like they have like dance floors that are hydraulics, and they like pick you up and like put you
What?
down, and like certain clubs, like if you in certain clubs, like depending on how much liquor you spend, like they raise your table, like if you get like a bottle service table,
Yeah.
the more money you spend, the higher they lift your table.
Get the fuck out of here.
No, I'm serious.
That's insane.
Not in every club, but like in the top
Wow.
tier cities.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It was like
the fact
a
that
thing.
that's in any club is crazy to me.
Yeah, it's wild. I mean, it was just interesting to see.
It almost seems counterintuitive because the more you
Yeah.
drink, I feel like the more likely you are to fall off that platform, you know? But
They had like bars around and shit.
Okay,
It was
yeah.
like next level shit. But yeah, that was definitely, you know, and I think China's crazy. Like huge.
yeah,
Huge.
Massive.
Absolutely huge.
yeah.
So like it was cool to experience that. But yeah, like out here, you know, like it's cool too. There's
Yeah.
definitely small intimate clubs like that I play that I had fun. Like even here in Mystic, you know,
Oh yeah.
fucking chapter 1, you know,
Yeah.
like it's like a silly little small show, but there's still fans and people here that appreciate this type of music,
Yeah.
you know, so it's still fun.
I feel like New York's got to be a pretty good scene for this, right?
Definitely. I've never played in New York.
Really?
Yeah. I've actually, well, last year now, last year first time I went to New York.
Ever?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out.
It
Wow.
was the first time I ever went there in my life.
What'd you do?
I went to I went to like this art show
Okay.
that my girlfriend was installing art and stuff.
Oh, like
And
art that she made?
yeah,
Oh,
she's a sculptor. She draws, paints, does 3D animation and stuff. But she
That's
had an
amazing.
art show.
Daisy,
and,
right?
Yeah, Daisy,
yeah.
and we made a few records together as well.
Yeah, they were good.
Thank you.
I
Yeah,
think the most recent one is the one I like the most. I think. It was the most recent one.
11.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, she has a beautiful voice. I love her, and it's always a blast working with her because it's really easy. Like
Yeah.
she gets my process, like I know her process, so it's nice. But
Yeah, it's
yeah,
kind of like awesome that you guys can do that, you know?
yeah, it's fun, And honestly, the best songs we recorded were recorded on an iPhone
Really?
mic.
An iPhone just like hold
Yeah.
it up like that?
Yeah, with
Yeah.
background noise in there.
Wow. Do you use any sort of like Isotope RX bundle, clean up the vocal a little bit, or you just like
I'm very
processing?
simple with processing vocals. I use just Ableton standard. I just glue compressor, EQ, maybe some After Effects of some sort, like some
Right.
delay or some, I don't know. Lately, I got the Isotope Trash, which I
it's
said
fun.
you.
Yeah, it's fun.
They were giving it out for free.
Yeah.
Shout out Isotope. They have great plugins, but yeah, like I don't use that much, but on like vocal processing and a lot of times the iPhone mic works as great as a $5,000 mic.
It is kind of crazy, like what you can get away with.
Yeah, not always though. Not always.
No, definitely not.
But there is exceptions where you're like, you know what? The iPhone sounds better than the fucking $2,000 mic.
Yeah, it's like,
and it doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
but that's just how it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, in New York, I was there, and I think I just went to like it was not a Peruvian restaurant. Fuck, I can't. Not Balinese. What was it? I can't remember. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
It was like some new food I've never had,
Mm.
and it was amazing.
That's
It
great.
was really good. I had a great time, and then went home after the art show. But it was nice. Speaking of which, I got to go back and pick up the art at some point.
Yeah. You're like, wait a
Still-
minute, shit.
it's
I
still
forgot.
there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's,
New York's cool, man. It's kind of crazy. I think the nice thing about being where we are is that Boston is right over there and New York is right over there. So it's like,
Yeah.
it's really easy to like, kind of be in the middle of two huge hubs of cities.
yeah.
That I think are really like, I mean, that's where all like the college mecca of the United States is all in
Yeah.
Boston.
Oh yeah.
So it's where you're going to get a lot of like, actually, I feel like you must have played like maybe a show over there at some point, no?
Not on the East Coast. No. I haven't done much on the East Coast. I have when I first started music. I'd play in like, I play at the Bogarts in Cincinnati, Ohio, and like, Indiana
Mm.
and Chicago. I never went past like Ohio
Oh,
to play
interesting.
any shows.
Okay.
Played a lot on the West Coast, of course. But yeah, not much on the East Coast. That's also like part of why I wanted to move here. After I was, had enough of LA,
Mm.
because now I'm down to go to LA, but you gotta go there in doses.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that.
It's just like when you go there, experience it, and then bounce. You're like, I know what it's about. I'll go there if I have to do work.
Yeah.
But besides that, like I could do work here.
Yeah. I mean, that's
and-
the wonderful nature about like music production is you
Yeah.
really can like now do it anywhere.
Exactly. And traveling's even tougher nowadays. So it's just like you avoid a big headache, and
It's really
It's
pretty out
nice.
here too, man. It's
Yeah.
quiet.
this
know.
reminds me of my home country.
Does it really?
Yeah. Yeah. We got all 4 seasons.
Yep. Yeah, we really do.
You have some like hills here and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's very similar temperature wise, and just
Do you like hiking and stuff? I know this is like kind of total tangent from music, but
I love hiking.
have you
Yeah.
been to New Hampshire and stuff yet?
No, I haven't.
Oh, dude.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, New
I love
Hampshire's
hiking
beautiful.
though. I used to do parkour when I was young.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got arrested one time.
What were you?
And
what
my
were you
dad had
doing?
to pick me up from the police
What
station.
the
It was
fuck-
funny.
What were you doing?
I was doing parkour on a roof, and then the cop pulled up, and instead of coming down, I ran onto the other side. but I didn't know there was cops on the other side. So.
Dude, that's like a.
Yeah, exactly. But it was funny because like at the police station, my dad doesn't speak good English, so he was like telling them like he was like being very strict, but they couldn't understand the word because they're like, but just from like them not being able to understand, they were like, oh,
this
okay,
kid's in
your dad
trouble.
looks like he knows what he's taking care of you. We'll let you go, but you know, he was like trying to talk about like cutting hands off and shit, like. You know,
really?
even though he wouldn't cut my hands, but he was just trying to like talk to them with, you know, like
authority. Like, don't worry, I'm gonna discipline him when he gets back. Yeah,
but in their head, they're like, "What the fuck is gonna cut his?" I don't know.
I don't know what's going on here.
So it was funny, but I love hiking, man. Yeah, and in LA, I hiked a lot. Anytime homies would come, I would just take them to the Hollywood sign, like just hike up because you know everyone wants to do the basic stuff.
Yeah.
So it would just be like a nice thing, and I'd be like, "Yeah, I know the shortcut. Let's go this way."
Yeah, yeah. I gotta get out over there. I've been to San Diego.
You've been to San Diego.
Yeah,
Nice.
and I loved San Diego. San Diego was a ton of fun. I've been to LA once, but it was like it didn't. I don't even count it because it was like I was there for like 6 hours and I had to bounce.
Okay. Yeah, you definitely need to go and snoop around.
Yeah, for sure. Snoop around. I like how you said that. Like, I'm gonna be like.
But you like San Diego, because
I did. Yeah,
nice.
It was fun, man. I mean, well, it's just like a whole different culture of people. Like, I mean, first of all, like I don't know if it's because it's summer year round over there, but like everyone's in shape. Like I didn't see one fat person when I was over there. You know, I'm not saying like that's a bad or negative thing. I'm just saying the difference in like people are always outside, walking around, all that kind of stuff. And then like it was just funny because when I met this girl out there, she was just like, wow, I just didn't think like some guy from Connecticut. I was like, it's kind of a backhanded compliment, but I'll take it, whatever.
I mean, well, even when I was out there, you would meet people from like the East Coast, you'd be like, the fuck are you doing here?
Yeah.
Like, they'd be like, well, it's complicated. You see, and give you a whole spiel.
It's complicated.
Yeah. I my family lives in Oceanside, California, and I at one point I broke my elbows. I was longboarding on Hollywood. I was working for Insomniac, passing out flyers at the nightclub. I was going to longboard to the nightclub, and my longboard got stuck in a little hole, and I just flew on my elbows, just broke them. So I was stuck with my family in Oceanside for a good amount of time.
Jeez.
And made a lot of music there, of course, but after that, I ended up moving to Orange County, and then making more records, and eventually got sick of LA and moved to the East Coast.
And you were like, all right, see ya.
Well, I think what did it was I tried moving to Portland, Oregon for some time.
Oregon's beautiful too, man. A lot of really cool hikes out there.
Beautiful hikes, waterfalls. Like that. That's one thing I did a lot, was go hiking in Portland because until the fires came, of course, and then I was kind of just forced to move to the East Coast. Yeah. So.
It is funny, like the East Coast, the only thing that we got over here, especially up in New England, is like stormy ice and like snow. But we don't get tornadoes, no earthquakes. We never get droughts. Like a drought year for us is like a super rain for LA. Yeah. So it's like the only thing you really got to deal with is snow here. So it's not too bad.
And it's not bad either. Like last year's snow wasn't bad here.
I will say where we are in particular, because we're so close to the ocean, it's very mild. Very, very mild winters.
I love that.
It's nice.
Like, I love that we're basically neighbors.
I know. Yeah, no, that's the other thing too.
I would have walked here if Justin didn't drive me, but
no, it is funny how close. Like I think in the summertime I was doing like my little runs when I was still running, and like I literally like ran into you guys. I was like, "Whoa, what's going on?"
Yeah, but even before when you showed, I'd be like, "Who the fuck is this guy running circle?" I'm like, I don't know who he is, but I was like, "Days, this guy just keeps running around." Like, I love his energy. I don't know what he does, but and then like randomly we met at that one breakfast. That was funny.
Yeah, it was funny. Yeah. Well, where do you kind of see yourself going? It's 2022. It's a new year. Yeah. What's on the plate for Plumpy and anything else you got going on?
So for Plumpy, I'm finishing up my EP. I'm trying to like dig back to the roots of the project and give my fans like the like true Plump sound that I've experimented with since the beginning of the project. But I also want to show my fans versatility. So it's just going back and making different type of records and swapping them out or reworking them. So the EP is definitely gonna be a process for the next like 2 months or so, maybe 3 even before I put it out. But I'm excited about that because it's different. It's a bit different for me. Uh, Fans will expect a certain sound, but I always like a challenge, and it'll sound like Plumpy, but it'll be inspirations, influences from sounds that I listened to in the past year or so.
Yeah.
And on top of that, of course, producing with a whole bunch of different people. Hopefully, we'll get to make something too.
Yeah, that'd be
mess
great.
around. And another thing for Audio Mac, just I'm excited to like kick off these interviews with you here, and have all sorts of electronic artists join us on the show and see what their story is about. And hopefully people that are listening can learn a thing or two from, what everyone's got to say.
Oh yeah, I mean that's the wonderful thing about podcasting is like sometimes go off into tangents and stuff. But those are sometimes some of the best moments because it's
it's natural.
No one knows what's going on,
right.
And I love that like the potential of talking to other electronic music artists because it's like a whole sector of music that I'm not super familiar with.
Right, so it's a learning thing for you.
Huge learning. So if anyone's listening and learning, you're learning at the same speed I'm at. So it's
exactly.
It's fun.
Yeah, and I'll link you with some people too. We'll have on here. There's a lot of talent coming out. Actually, from the East Coast, which is awesome.
Oh, that'd be great. I can always do the internet type of like Zoom stuff, but I definitely prefer the in person.
Yeah, it's definitely better.
It is, because I can feel you. You know,
exactly.
I'm like, okay, and there's no delay. My God, the Zoom delay can be bad sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
But yeah,
it is what it is, right? We gotta make it work somehow.
Absolutely, yeah.
But yeah, in person, definitely the best way to do it.
Sweet, dude. Well, it sounds like you got a lot of cool shit. I guess maybe before we sign off, any sort of like last little bits here before, like, I don't know, maybe where they can find you on Instagram or anything like that.
Thank you to everyone that tuned in. Thank you, Randy, of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
For having me on the podcast. We'll try to do this consistently with new artists, and this episodes will be exclusively on Audio Mac and of course YouTube as well if you're into the video version of podcasts. And we hope to bring you some of the latest best talent out there right now. We'll see where it takes us, but I'm excited to start the series because it's something that would be really cool to have on the electronic section of our streaming platform here at Audio Mac. So
love it, man.
Thank you for being on board and taking the time to do this, man.
Yeah, dude, thanks so much for coming.
Of course.
All right, sweet. See ya.
Peace.
Thanks so much for listening to Bone Apple Tea. If you like the show, please give us a follow, like, comment, subscribe, whatever it is. Tell your friends about it. And make sure to follow us on Instagram. That's Bone Apple TV, BoneAppleTeav on Instagram. Thanks so much.